This is indeed Euronews' new format, 12 minutes with, and we're going to have 12 minutes with Christian Mickoski, Prime Minister of North Macedonia. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invitation, of course.
You are a very experienced candidate, if I may say. Now, the country submitted the application in March 2004.
Practically, we started this journey more than 2 decades ago. 2 decades and a half, 25 years ago. 25 years ago, we signed that Stability and Association Agreement with the European Union. We've become a candidate country since 2005, together with Croatia. We received first positive report for starting negotiations in 2009, together with Croatia. And unfortunately, we are in the same place where we were 25 years ago, due to some artificial reasons. Not because of the Copenhagen criteria, not because of the fulfilling some objectives, but because of some artificial disputes, such are our national flag, our national name, our country name, change of constitution this, change of constitution that. Again, there is another hurdle, another constraint imposed in front of us for changing of constitution. So it's not about fulfilling recommendations and Copenhagen criteria.
You're calling them artificial. How does it make you feel knowing that for over 2 decades officially in the candidate status, yet again there is more and more roadblocks?
We do believe that our future is in European Union. We are a part of the European continent, and we do believe that integration of Western Balkans in EU means added value for EU itself, and this means reunification on a sort of way of European continent. And I do think that the future of my country and the future of my nation, Macedonians, is within European Union. And therefore, despite all those humiliations and disappointments, and despite the current frustration which is inside of our citizens, we do share the same values.
Let's talk a little more in details about some of those. Right after finding an arrangement with Greece, you then faced a veto from Bulgaria. Yeah. And this is the current situation. This issue of unanimity and then the vetoes, obviously, is a very important conversation. And you know exactly how long it can take.
We know what unanimity means for us and what type of sacrifice we've did in the past. But nevertheless, this is a past. I would like to talk about the current situation. When there was a Prespa agreement on the table, and when this name issue was on the table, a lot of people from all over the world came into our capital in Skopje, trying to convince us that, look, you are the front runners in the region. You are far, far ahead compared with the other countries from the Western Balkans. Immediately when you will provide solution for this dispute, then probably immediately you've become a member of NATO, and it will take probably 4 or 5 years, and you will become a member of EU. Those 4 or 5 years expired 2 years ago. And we are at the same place where we were 2.5 decades ago. Why? Because now a new hurdle, new constraint is in front of us. Again, change of a constitution. We need to add into the preamble of our constitution, which is a descriptive part of our constitution, a part of Bulgarian people which are living in our country. And according to the last census data, we are talking about a couple of hundred people. We are not talking about millions, we are not talking about hundreds of thousands of people. We are talking about literally a couple of hundred people, which declared during the last census that their mother tongue is Bulgarian language. But however, citizens of my country, full of frustration, are asking me, okay, Prime Minister, what is now? What is now the problem? Why we need to change our constitution again? Okay, if we do this, this will be the last one, or probably there will be some additional in the future. Why we need to bring a couple of hundred citizens of our country into our constitution? We're talking about violation of someone's human rights. Who we are politicians to judge whether someone's rights being violated or not? We can only misuse that issue. The real institution which is judging whether someone's rights being violated or not is in Strasbourg. And what European Court for Human Rights says during the last couple of years, 14 times in a favor of Macedonian community in Bulgaria and 0 times in favor of Bulgarian community in my country. So, then there is another question, additional question. Why we should change our constitution then? Why we are not talking about Macedonian community in Bulgaria? What about their human rights? What about their human rights because they are not allowed to register non-governmental organization? We're not talking about change of Bulgarian constitution. We're not talking about a sort of reciprocity. We're talking about registering non-governmental organization. And what we are saying, okay, the best corruptive government in Europe accepted that deal to change constitution, suspending the parliament in my country, suspending the voice of the parliament in my country, and they are now in the history. There is a new government, and this new government is saying, okay, those guys, those ladies and gentlemen accept it, but what about international law? What about resolution that is protecting human rights in the countries which are in the perimeter of European Union?
How do you communicate that specifically with this community? How do you build this dialogue with them, trying to convince them probably, or explain it to them?
You mean about Bulgarian community? They have all the rights. Our constitution is that-like. They have literally all the rights. Practically, they are a part of our institutions. But okay, again, I'm saying, okay, they are in, we are out. This is a bit of bullying, okay. We would like to see ourselves on the table in Brussels. And what is now the price? And whether this is the last price that we should pay. This is the real question.
How do you see the other EU membership hopefuls, the candidate countries who are facing quite similar obstacles on their path? What would be some kind of piece of advice that you could share with your experience? Again, given that you had to overcome first one veto, then the second one veto, and then, as you said, who knows which one might come next?
I can't remember similar case. Maybe in the past that was a dispute between Slovenia and Croatia. In the meantime...
There is a certain veto happening now with the candidate countries, as we've heard with the president of Ukraine.
No, I'm talking about the past. About the current situation, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that the similar situation will occur in the future. Because if someone is witnessing that this veto tool works, then we should apply the same recipe. Why not? Because if someone dares to bully someone else who wants to join the club, why the others should be silent? This is not normal. If we are accepting that principle once, then this principle will destroy all the values developed by De Gasperi, Schuman, and Adenauer when this organization was developed. So, the European Union itself should ask themselves what we are doing. What we are doing with this unanimity. And is it according to the principles and values based on which we've been developed?
And in this current situation, my final question to you would be, how disappointing it is for average Macedonians to, as you say, for over 2 decades to be, these are generations who've been waiting for over 2 decades and yet facing these roadblocks.
Very much.
Are they losing the motivation to join the European Union?
No, definitely. The support is the highest in the region, maybe, or among the highest in the region. I'm working as a professor and teaching mechatronics. For me, it was in my previous life. now I'm the prime minister for almost a year and a half. But I was very sorry when I was witnessing how my students are willing to depart from the country. Why? Because simply they were missing hope. They felt hopeless. And most of them are living now in the European countries, in the EU countries. When I was elected as a prime minister, I said, okay, this is a hurdle. Probably there will be a lot of challenges in front of us until the very end. This is the destiny of the small nations. The big ones are doing what they can, and the small ones are doing what they must. Unfortunately, we are small. But let's do our homework. Let's finish our homework. Let's create a good environment. Let's bring back home youngsters, and let's develop something that will be good for them. And let's deliver homework that will impress EU. And maybe then someone from EU will say, enough is enough. Let's do something for them. Otherwise, this is damaging our values, and practically this does not have a future. And that's why I do believe that we need to finish our homework, and we are delivering since we were elected as a government.
Thank you very much. We'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you for this experience and for sharing it with us here for the enlargement talks. That was 12 minutes with Prime Minister of North Macedonia, Mickoski. Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation.